Yeah, this LEGO creation is a work of art. A Fellbeast and the WitchKing from the Lord of the Rings brought to life with LEGO bricks. Let's take a cheeky peek at this incredible and very well built LEGO creation and see all the awesome details that have been packed into this insanely well made creation. So this MOC is called A Fellbeast and his WitchKing, and it's built by Aiden, or his actual name as I'll be referring to him in this video, which is Aiden. The Fellbeast itself is magnificent, majestic, and it's a little bit imposing as well. You know, seeing it stand proud, it's just really impressive. I love this whole face design. You know, when we compare it to how the WitchKing's Fellbeast looks in the movie, well, they've done a very good job at recreating it. There's something so lifelike about this face design, and I think it's the tongue. The unique angle of it, the way that it's just jutting out of the mouth, it's exactly how you would expect it to look. They've captured it just perfectly with LEGO bricks. Now sure, the eye design, it appears to be using some Sharpie or maybe some paint to establish that eye. Maybe this would have looked a little bit nicer if they used some actual pieces or an official printed element instead. But hey, using Sharpie or whatever they used to do that, Aiden has managed to achieve the perfect shape that matches it exactly how they envisioned. And maybe that might have been a little bit more difficult to do with actual pieces. So, you know, in this circumstance, I don't think there's anything too wrong with using some paint or some Sharpie to achieve that design. Now, my favorite part of this creation, it has to be the seamless flow between the different segments and sections of the body. Like here, how Aiden used these wedge plate pieces to transition the body into the leg design. Oh, gorgeous. Or even how on this segmented tail, each section just kind of blurs together to form a long flowing tail. And it's just so obviously LEGO, you can see the LEGO pieces, it's a bit chunkier, but the fact that there's barely any gaps between these sections, well, it's the closest you could ever get to making blocky LEGO bricks look so realistic and so organic. And hey, the way that each section of the tail neatly gets smaller and smaller is just wonderful. You know, it's a challenge all in itself to find ways of bridging each segment while also having less space to build each time it gets smaller and smaller. It's way easier to pack in details and create perfectly rounded shapes when you've got heaps more bricks and heaps more space to play with, but when you get down to the very bottom there, suddenly it gets a little bit more difficult. There's way less space to build with, right? So sure, the tail looks nice, but with all that other stuff in mind, it's also so well built. And then you combine that with the wonderful segmented neck, which looks like it's still very poseable as well, and then the seamless flow of these curved slopes that make up this body design. Well, all of those different things work together to create a real masterpiece. I mean, these wonderful textures and the seamless transitions between each area, it all just brilliantly mimics the anatomy of like a snake or a lizard or a dragon. And Aiden's craftsmanship takes a non-existent fantasy creature like this Fellbeast, and through the use of these realistic textures, suddenly makes it feel real and lifelike. Yeah, and Aiden on top of that has used LEGO bricks to do that. Making LEGO look so lifelike and realistic is a skill all in itself. It's just truly something else. And look, the realistic elements and the clever LEGO craftsmanship, it just keeps coming. Look at this chest design. This slight rounding of the chest in this area here is just great. It's a detail that's very accurate to the movies and how it appears in other video games and other related material. But I also love this brown stripe. It's just kind of singled out there, and it wonderfully achieves a look of a saddle for the strap that the WitchKing is sitting on. Now, hey, let's talk about that WitchKing. This is a brilliant addition, and it's very well done. They've managed to include an incredible amount of accuracy to the source material for the actual WitchKing. It's great to see all the different pieces that help capture this iconic helmet design. Now, this crown uses this life preserver piece in dark bluish grey, and then they've attached a bunch of minifigure hands all clipped around the edge there to mimic that spiky look. We also have the choice to use these wing blade pieces here to form the shape of the helmet. Now, honestly, that's the perfect piece to replicate that source material there. These pieces are cool, and ironically, they actually appeared in a previous Lord of the Rings set. You can see them in action on this set here. But yeah, all that together there, it's instantly recognizable. You know exactly what this is when you see it. They've also used this Bionicle headpiece. It's one that you probably recognize from some of the G2 Bionicle sets. They had this head underneath their masks, but using them as ornate-looking shoulder armor. What an unexpected pleasure. Very clever and very creative part use. Oh, and then using all sorts of these black pieces here to create and capture free-flowing cloth cloth to mimic the look of the WitchKing. That's just the cherry on top that makes this look so good. Moving down to the leg design, we can see that they've used a sturdy curved lift arm here to form the basic structure of the leg, and then they've layered the leg design around that lift arm. Having that big sturdy base of support underneath is always incredibly helpful, especially on a MOC like this. But it's nice to see how they've continued that texture all the way down onto this leg design, and then it ends with this fantastic clawed foot, which again looks so impressive and awfully realistic as well. Well, for a fantasy beast. I didn't mention all these great spikes along the tail and the neck and the back as well. They're taking advantage of many different claw pieces, as well as some other brick-built elements to mimic the unique shape of the spikes as they're seen on the beast across the various different areas of source material. I mean, you know, your typical spikes and claw elements always get the job done, but these elaborate larger spikes that use clips, they also use some curve slopes, we can also see some bricks and some plates thrown in there too. Wow, these are all just awesome. And the slight angle that they rest on as well, it's just brilliant. Now the wings, they appear to be using some custom cloth pieces. I don't believe these are from any official LEGO sets, but I think that's helpful because not only can you get the exact right shape, but using these custom pieces allows you to have these cloth pieces be a little bit more taut and tightly pulled. And I think this expertly reflects the leathery wings of a Fellbeast. So yeah, that was a great choice, and I think that so wonderfully continues this dreadful, evil, and wicked aesthetic of these creatures, and of the WitchKing himself. And if we take a peek below, we can see how these wings are actually attached. This is a somewhat simple way of doing so. It's just using a few ratchet joints to actually link it to the body, and then we've got a few more ratchet joints, a different kind now, and some lift arms that make this pretty slim but pretty effective structure that links it all together. Nothing too fancy, but it gets the job done. And hey, no one's really going to see this anyway, the cloth just covers it up, so this doesn't need to be all that pretty. And to cap it all off, it's resting on a small but very elegant little base. Now, obviously the base keeps the Fellbeast standing up. I'm sure some of those lift arms actually link deeper into the base, so it acts as a really solid base of support. But that's not the only little extra support stand here. We've also got one that's keeping the tail sturdy up the back here. If you're building something similar to this, there's nothing wrong with adding small little stands every now and then, just to keep things strong. So yeah, this MOC is a work of art. It's masterfully crafted and uses LEGO pieces in some genius ways. Honestly, this MOC would actually make a wonderful LEGO set. Now, I love your Rivendelles and other LEGO sets that have been officially released by LEGO for Lord of the Rings or The Hobbit, but man, give me character and creature builds from Lord of the Rings much like this MOC here. Oh, I'd buy that in a heartbeat. LEGO, if you're watching, take notes. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed seeing this incredible creation that was on display at Brickvention 2023. Stay tuned for more awesome MOCs and other videos coming your way soon. Thanks for watching, happy building, and bye for now.